We made it through using this. We kept our devices charged. We had some emergency lights, a little bit of TV. We were okay. This is it. A treadmill motor, a bike stand. You don't have to add any electronics. I added one little component. I'll show you later. You don't have to do any welding. You don't have to add any pulleys or belts or take off the rear tire of your bike. Put your bike in here, start pedaling. You got electricity. Let's look at it a little closer. This is a old Performance Travel Track 2 treadmill motor. This is the original bracket that held the magnetic resistance unit on. I ground off the welds, both here and back here, that held this on, slid it over so that this whole assembly would be in the middle of the bike stand. It's got a spring in it. That was part of the magnetic resistance originally. There's the motor. It was from an old Welso treadmill. I don't really remember that. I built this 10 or 15 years ago. And to hold everything on there, I just made a piece of bracket out of some steel, mild steel, and bolted that to the original bracket that held the magnetic resistance unit on there. And underneath here is what I added, which you certainly don't have to add. It'll work without it. It's just a little diode. Setting this up is like pretty much any other bike stand. This bike has got quick release, so you got to be a little bit more careful, but it's still not too bad. Also, this bike has 700 size tires. So we're going to set it up on blocks just because that tire sits on the ground if you don't. And that's it. So with this, you don't even need to really hook it up to a battery. Here's a cheap old USB charge plug for a 12-volt outlet. And as long as you don't pedal too fast, and I'm just pedaling this by hand, you can see it starts charging. At the same time I built this generator, I built this little power pack unit. There's a 400 watt Rosewell inverter in it, and there's a little plug that goes into the generator. And I got a little battery charge circuit here that a friend of mine out in Ohio, Glenn Hurd Solar, built. And then a little meter for it. This originally had about 10 amp hour of NiCad batteries in it at 12 volts. And then I had a little, those went dead. And I put in a little 10 amp hour SLA battery. That went dead. So right now, there's nothing to power it. Well, maybe. All right, we got our little 12 volt battery here. I'll that up, fire it up, see if it works. Well, that looks like success. Got a little light from the garage here, LED shop light. It's 40 watts. See how long this lasts. Well, doesn't look like it's working great. I don't know if you can see that light lighting up in there. This is basically a halogen bulb. And the way this circuit works is once it gets up to whatever voltage you decide to set it to, that light comes on and it's dumping the excess power so you don't overcharge your battery. We'll have to see if we can figure out a way to, maybe I can turn this light off and turn it back on while I'm pedaling. But I can tell you already, it's going to be a little bit hard for that 40, but we'll try it. The inverter's on. We'll start pedaling. So there you go. Voltage is dropping a little. Right there, I'm keeping it charged. This isn't too bad. Not a huge load. Okay. Well, there you go. I think it's pretty simple. I think most people would agree it's pretty simple. And it just works.